back. So happy you could join me again. So over the last couple of videos, we've been kind of having a theme. I mean, they're all themes. It's about personal development and growing yourself and becoming the best version of yourself that you can be. And remember, that can only happen when you work on yourself. So that's the most important thing. You know, I like to use Jim Rohn quotes a lot, and he says you have to work harder on yourself than you do anything else. So it's important that we take time to work on ourselves. I'm going to put a link below. It was a nice Kobe link that I saw on YouTube this morning, and it's just talking about the importance of mindfulness, meditation, and sleep. And it's some things that we're going to touch on right now. So life is about state management. So we've talked about a little bit about emotions and what they mean, right? Like, oh, we're human, we're supposed to feel our emotions. Your emotions are like guidance systems to let you know that you're either on course or off course. To let you know that you're either in direction of what you want or you're out of direction of what you want, or in sync or out of sync. So the idea is to not really get lost so much in the emotion, but to realize the state that it brings on, because the state that you're in is going to dictate your actions, it's going to dictate your thoughts, it's going to dictate your words, it's going to play a major role in what you do. Life is about state management. So what does that mean? You know, last we touched on like an excited state or getting yourself in a prime state, which is a lot of like the TR work or what he does of getting yourself in state or in position. You know, even in sports, think about it. When you get ready to go watch a sporting event, especially an important sporting event that everybody, you know, that the teams want to win really, really badly because it maybe has playoff implications or champion implications, how do you see everybody? Is everybody sitting there saying, yeah, let's go, we got them today? No, what is everybody doing? Let's go, getting pumped up, let's go, let's go. Why do you think you're getting yourself pumped up and getting, because you need to be in a state of a warrior. You need to be in the state of a champion. You need to be prepared. You cannot allow those states of not being good enough or feeling weak or feeling insignificant to creep in. That doubt, that lack, that loss of state of a champion is what brings on the loss. We could say, well, what if both people walk in there with the state of mind of being a champion? Well, someone's going to be more powerful in their thoughts. Someone's going to want it more. And the person that wants it more is generally going to get it. Because in life, we've learned from the last video, to get what you want, you have to first know what it is. So now, if knowing what you want is the first step, then from there, we're going to start setting up some goals. The next important part to this equation is making sure that you are managing your state. So every time that you feel like the same thing, like a game, like let's take, like the sporting world has done all this amazing psychology stuff to see like how the brain works and how things work, but yet we're not incorporating it in our everyday lives or in the business world, and it's right there. What do you think that this visualization, why do you think it's so important and so prevalent in sports? Because you're creating a future event before it happens. You're creating the person that it's going to take to be before you even get there. So when you sit there and you do your meditations, right, we're not sitting there on visualizations. Athletes aren't thinking about losing. They're thinking about winning. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we've done plenty of studies where it's shown, it's proven, it's science at this point, that whether you are imagining an act or actually physically doing an act, your brain lights up the exact same way. They did studies with downhill skiers. Look this stuff up. They had the downhill skier go down a mountain with his brain hooked up to an EKG or whatever kind of machine it is that reads brain patterns. And as they're doing the study, they're seeing, hey, how does his brain light up as he's going down this mountain? Then what they do is they take him inside the lab and then they show him the mountain. They say, hey, imagine you're going down this mountain right now that you just ran. The brain lights up identical. So this is important to know that our brain does not know the difference between imagination and reality. So where does this play into state management? When you're feeling sorry for yourself, in a sorry state, in a state of not good enough, in a state of despair, how many good thoughts do you have? So what happens? You start to create a future of despair. Your brain lights up as if you're living that despair. So you can call it being human and living in an emotion. I call it creating a future that you do not want to create. Because who wants to create a future where things don't work out for them, their family, their friends, or the people that they love? Who? That's the question. So the question is, how can you manage your state? Now, there's lots of ways. Like we said, TR has some ways. Just getting yourself jumping up and down is good. Personally, one that I love that I'm going to be doing and I share with you and recommend is getting a small trampoline before you start to do something, just to jump, to get your body moving, to get your blood flowing. I mean, right now, wherever you're standing, just sit there and jump up and down 10 times and just start going, yeah, and see how it changes the way that you feel. Nobody's saying that you have to live there, even though it's probably a pretty good place to live, because it probably bears and yields some pretty good results. But that's not the case, because it's not for everybody. But there are times you need to pump yourself up. If you are an athlete, you've been there with your team saying, let's go, we got this. State management is going to play a major role in your ability to become more successful. If you look at all the people that you see on TV, they may not always be that person, or on Instagram, but they show you a state. And that state is what becomes successful. And the longer that this person can live in that state, the more they yield the results of that state, of what that state brings. So to manage your state, the first thing you have to realize are what are your knee-jerk reactions. So think about this. A knee-jerk reaction is like having a friend, a parent, a sibling that says something to you, and regardless of how you're feeling or what you're doing, it scrunches your face and it gets you that fire, that pit in your stomach. The first thing is to realize that it's a knee-jerk reaction. You know, we're not teaching this enough. I was talking with a 10-year-old yesterday that was telling me how the other team was the reason why he can't focus. What state was he in? Was he in the state of a champion? Because a champion clears the mechanism and doesn't hear that. Where was he? He was in a state of feeling sorry for himself. He was in a state of failure. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to be there forever. But at 10 years old, as long as that young man continues to look outside of himself for reasons why he's not successful, he's living in a state of fear. He's living in a state of irresponsibility. Now, is this a knock on a 10-year-old? Absolutely not, because I know 35-year-olds doing the same thing. But why do I bring the 10-year-old up? Because nobody's teaching state management. We're teaching it's okay to feel that way. No, it's not. It's not okay to feel that way. It's okay to recognize your feelings, to recognize your knee-jerk reaction, and then to go within and realize that you, my friends, are in control of the way that you feel. Nobody controls the way that you feel except you. You could walk into a situation that is completely terrible, but you have to control the situation. Maybe, just maybe, that whatever's happening is part of your journey, and if it didn't happen, it wouldn't get you to your end destination. Think about the state you could put yourself in then. Regardless of the circumstances that are happening in your three-dimensional world, you can look at it and say, this is getting me exactly what I want. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I know that it's going to bring me closer to my goal. You know, I laugh at this stuff. Like, look at Craig Carton, right? Very talented radio personality, wanted his own show, really, believed he was better than Mike Francesa, started battling with him. Gets arrested for something that he did, which we won't even talk about because it's not relevant to right now. But now coming out of that and most likely going into the exact same slot that he wanted and becoming that afternoon drive guy just like he wanted. So it took something to force him away, because if you think about it, Boomer and Carton probably never would have broke up because they were excellent. So it took an outside circumstance to completely mess up his world to get to exactly what he wanted. So maybe there's more to this journey than we realize. But what's the state? Because if you ever heard him come on the radio, even after it happened, did he break character? Did he break state? No! He still believed he was the best. He still believed he was going to be back on the radio. And now he is. State management is a major, major part of this game. It's about thinking that things aren't going to work out, which is a knee-jerk reaction to something that happened outside of you, and saying, screw that. I'm in control of the way that I feel. I'm in control of my actions. I'm going to make sure I put myself in the best state I could possibly be in, and I'm going to move forward from that place. So life is about state Management. Manage the way that you feel on a daily basis and watch the results that you yield. When you want something, you have to think as if you've already accomplished it. So, for my athletes, if you want to be a higher level ball player, how would you feel? Would you feel like you weren't good enough? Would you feel like other people were better than you? No. You would feel like I'm unstoppable. Read How Champions Think by Bob Rotella. And in it, he talks about Jack Nicklaus. And he's at some college giving a speech. And while he's at this college giving a speech, he makes a comment where I never 3-putt on the green. I never 2-putt. I never 2-putt on the green. And one of the guys raised his hand. He goes, wait. He goes, I just watched you in your last Masters and you 2-putted on one of the holes. And he stops and wait. He goes, it looks at the kid dead in his eyes. And he goes, I never 2-putt on the green. So he finishes his speech, and after he talks to this young man, and he goes, you may have saw it. He goes, but I'm not going to remember it. I'm not going to allow myself to remember a failure. He goes, I have gotten off the green in enough time, and I don't know enough about golf terms, but without 2-putting so much in my career that the few times it happens is irrelevant. But what do we do as most people? We allow that state of fear to dictate our actions instead of that state of faith, that state of excitement, that state of joy, the state of a champion. So it's about remembering in those moments your past victories. It's about putting yourself in a state that is prepared to take action and to succeed at whatever you put your mind to. So managing state is about catching your knee-jerk reactions. When something happens really fast and you get really angry. And once you can catch those, you start saying, who do I want to be? And actually, no. Not once you start catching those, you already have to decide who you want to be. What state do you want to live in? Listen, I got a lot of people in my life and I watch this stuff. There are people that are not happy and then wonder why they're not happy, but continue to have the exact same knee-jerk reactions that they've had since they were 10. We got to change this. Because once you start to manage your state, you start to change your life. Because by managing state, you're changing your personality. And the only way to change your personal reality is to change your personality. So it's time to change. It's time to manage state in a way that has never been managed before. It's time to look at your knee-jerk reactions and let them go. It's time to catch your body start moving in this kind of direction and then sitting there saying, all right, what's going through my head right now? And say, you know what? I'd rather think about my family who I love. Remember, it's about taking a bad feeling thought and massaging it until it feels good. Ask Abraham Hicks about that. But if you can't make it feel good, it's immediately replacing it with a good feeling thought. So if you're trying to get yourself in a good state, but you're not finding the right thoughts, think about something you love. Think about something that you care about. Find that feeling and then apply it into what you're doing. Now, yes, do I make this sound simple? Yes, because it is. Now let's get a little deeper. It's not simple, but it's that simple. It's a daily, I don't know the right word, it's not a grind, it's a daily conscious effort to become the best version of yourself. People are meant to be happy. People are meant to feel love. People are meant to grow. People are meant to know what they want and go after it. But we live in a society where that's just not the openly accepted way of doing things. And why do you think it is? Because you've been hearing a little bit about it and we're just touching it. There is on some level a push for your consciousness. Your consciousness, your ability to say, I am. And even deeper, forget saying it because some people can't say it, just to know you are. It gives you the ability to create. And if you need more examples of people like that have been out there that have had interesting things happen in their lives, but they changed their state, look at Amy Purdy. Go look her up. Go look up King Gimp. Go look him up. Look these people up and just see that there are circumstances that have never happened in your life that would totally throw you off. You have people overcome it because they manage their state. Manage your state. Become the best version of yourself that you can be. Enter everything you do with excitement. Enter everything thinking like a champion. If you were getting ready to compete at anything that you think you're good at, how would you walk into that? And walk into that in everything that you do. Be excited about life. Be excited about your journey. Have fun doing it, knowing that whatever is going on around you, it's bringing you where you want to go. Do you know where you want to go? Because how could you manage a state to get to where you want to go if you don't know where you want to go? Managing your state is everything. Feelings let you know that your state needs to be managed. Are you ready to manage your state? Are you ready to manage your state in your business interview? Are you ready to manage your state in your sales pitch? Are you ready to manage your state in your at-bat? Are you ready to manage your state when you're behind the line? Are you ready to manage your state in every single situation? Because the more you manage your state, the more success that you will see. That you will see. That's really it. So we've touched on some really important things over the last couple of days. That's your ability to goal set. Important. But before you can do that, you have to know what you want. Super, super important. And then going through this whole process, managing your state. Waking up and seeing life exactly as it was yesterday, the way that you didn't want it, but still knowing that this is taking you exactly where you're supposed to go. If you do this, you'll see major changes in your life. And as always, people, I'm here to help. Reach out, comment, like, share, be part of this growing community, part of this growing family, because together we are a lot more powerful if we are moving in a direction of creating the best possible versions of ourselves that we can create every day. So, reach out, let me know. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always, and I'll see you soon.